Hey, Kat Miller here. Hey, are you creating content and hoping that it will attract leads? Maybe you're crossing your fingers, putting it out there and hoping that someone will reach out and want to work with you. If it's not working, it can be really frustrating, especially when you're not sure exactly what to do to fix it. So for someone to follow you, we need to have a content strategy where we take people along a journey. And so in this video, I want to share with you 5 types of content that consistently attract leads. What a lot of people don't realize is that there's the same type of post that most of us are putting out that is in our comfort zone. And when we actually diversify our content and we teach a range, we share a range of pieces of content, we start to open up new people in our audience. We attract more followers. We speak to different types of people. They're all ideal clients. They're all dream clients that you'd love to work with, but we're focusing on particular preferences, the way the brain processes information, and the way people like to receive content. So for someone to become a client, obviously they need to trust you, they want to have a connection with you, and they need to see you as a credible, logical solution to their problem. So when we have strategic content, we can be confident that our content will be working rather than just putting it out and praying or hoping that it's working. So there are actually 3 things that need to go into a content strategy, and one of them is diversity. And diversity is all about rotating different types of content. There are different types of content that allow people to go on a journey towards working with you, because most people don't come across a piece of content and say, I want to work with her. Some might, but it's more rare unless you're like a world-class copywriter. And so we don't want to jump people from just coming across you, to inviting them to work with you. It's way too much of a jump, right? So if you strategically incorporate a mix of different content types and actually have people engaging and leading them along the journey, you will start consistently generating leads week after week. And so in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 types of content that my clients and I use to consistently get leads and grow our audience with the right type of people, not just any people, but the right types of people. So if you're here with me, welcome. So good to have you here live. Hello, please say hello. Please pop comments into the comments. And if you're watching the replay, please #replay. Let me know you're here, and please do like and comment and share this with anyone that you think would benefit from it. I really appreciate all the interaction, and it really does make a difference when you're sitting at home and you're sharing in your office by yourself to just know that there's real life people actually, watching it and getting value from it. So I do always appreciate those comments. Hello, those of you who are here live. So let's talk about the 5 different types of content that I recommend. If you start incorporating different types of content and rotating between them, then you give yourself a much higher chance of succeeding when you put out content. So I do have a bit of a visual, but I want to first of all just explain, if you don't have a really powerful content strategy, what can happen. And I see this a lot, is that a lot of coaches wonder what to post, and they kind of feel like they're doing it last minute, almost like they're a little bit behind the 8 ball, and oh my gosh, now it's Thursday, I still haven't posted, I better just quickly put something out there. And so it's a little bit rushed, it's maybe not as intentional. Intentionality is something that's really important when it comes to your content. Every piece of content needs to do a job, and we want to have a purpose for each piece of content. So I do see a lot of content out there that's quite random, and I can tell that the person just felt inspired about something and shared it. And it's kind of sitting as a standalone piece rather than part of a plan. And so if we just kind of put these random standalone one-off pieces of content out there, rather than actually planning a strategy that leads people along a journey, it's really not going to work. And it's stressful. I was speaking to someone recently, and she was saying, I used to stress about content all the time. Like, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? How do I get it to work? And now that she has a strategy, I work together with her to put together a personalized strategy, because you want to make sure that your strategy works for you, your lifestyle, your preferences, as well as your audiences. preferences and the way they like receiving information. So it's got to be both, right? It's got to work for you. If you're not the kind of person that is great at writing long blog posts, then maybe jumping on a couple of minutes video is going to be better for you. So it's finding something that works for you, that's effective, that's enjoyable. It can actually be fun, I promise you. I was talking to a lady last night and I said, I love videos. And she said, oh, for me, it's a bit of an acquired taste. And I said, yeah, for me too. I used to hate doing videos, and now it's one of my favorite things to do every week because I get to jump on and share about what I love. But a lot of people are just sharing content when they feel inspired, and not posting consistently. And they kind of will post when they've got something coming up, like a launch or an offer or an event, and then they kind of disappear for a while and they go back in their cave for a few weeks and you don't see them. And I think it does give this underlying feeling as though, oh, she only shares when she wants something, which can feel a little bit, well, it can lose trust, right? So consistency, sharing value regularly and systematically does build trust. It doesn't have to be that you commit, okay, every day I'm going to do something. It doesn't have to be that, of course. But if people do see you regularly, they start to trust you. Your face becomes more familiar. By the way, people need to see your face. Gone are the days where you can just hide behind written content. People don't trust that anymore because I think largely because of AI, and anyone can just say anything. Anyone can copy anything. But when you're on video, the camera doesn't lie. It's you're staring at a lens and it's coming from your brain. And you might have some notes. I have some notes there, but you got to know your stuff and you got to be talking about what you know, because otherwise people pick it up, right? If you don't come across as confident. So really important to have a strategy so that you integrate all those pieces into a cohesive whole, and every piece of content has a job to do to move people along the journey. And then your content becomes the bridge from your followers and leads and audience through to becoming your paid clients. And so I want to share with you a strategy that I use. It's a very high level overarching strategy. It's called the 4-week content builder. I'm diving deep into how to do this at my upcoming workshop, where I'm talking through the 5 different types, how to do each one, and we're actually building it out at the workshop. If you want to know about that, just drop the word workshop into the comments now, and I will send you the details to check it out. We had an amazing time on Tuesday, just an incredible community of women working. It's not sitting and listening to me. It's all day. It's actually getting some of this stuff done, and people are starting to build out their content strategy. So I want to talk about the content builder from a high level, and obviously this needs tweaking to suit you personally. But when you look out in the marketplace at most content that is out there, it actually falls into sorry, let me just adjust that. They pretty much fall into one of these five content types or categories. The first content type is what we call engage content. And the purpose of engage content is to build community. So this content's really great for Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, any, on Facebook where people type in the comments, you actually really want a response. Like for example, the holistic psychologist, she does this really well, where she'll share a carousel and teach a cool point or inspire, and then she'll say, let's talk about it in the comments. And so that really builds community, it builds engagement. So you might be saying something like, what's your favorite quote? What's your favorite book for getting motivated? What's your favorite podcast? People love answering those types of questions. And so engaged content builds community, and we expect a response. We actually really want a response. And so you want to ask questions that people enjoy answering. So that's engage content. It's to build community, build connection. It's not teaching, it's getting other people to add their opinion. The next one is educate. And the purpose of educate is to elevate your expertise. So think about what you're an expert in. I know you might not feel like an expert, or you might not like describing yourself as an expert, but you are an expert in something. If you're here with me live, or even if you're on the replay, pop what you are good at. Pop into the comments. What do you help people with? Like, what is that thing that you love helping people with? Just share it in the comments. What is your expertise? What do you have experience in? What have you studied? What have you learned a lot about? What do you know a lot about? What can you talk a lot about? That is your expertise. And so with Educate Content, we share your expertise. You teach. So we teach and we coach. So we teach, we train, like I do training videos where I'm teaching people how to do something, but I'm also coaching people. I'll talk about mindset, inspiration, motivation, how to actually get motivated to take action. So educate is things like how to do something, shifting someone's belief. So belief shifting, we actually need to do this across pretty much most of our content. We need to shift beliefs, except for the engage one, that's just designed to build community. But the rest of these, we need to shift beliefs, because it's when someone has a belief shift, a perspective shift, they start to think differently, see something differently. That's when they take a new action. And that's when your content becomes enjoyable, valuable. That's what value is. When someone shifts a belief and then takes a new action, that is what we describe as valuable. It's not, here's a tip that they could have just got off Google or ChatGPT. It's actually getting them to think differently so that they behave differently, so they take a new action. And so that's belief shifting content. And educate could be a knowledge bomb, something that you know that a lot of people don't know. You learned it, you thought it was cool, you share it. So don't make it really obvious. Don't talk about what everybody else is talking about. Don't search ChatGPT for it. ChatGPT is great for helping you just do those final little tweaks, but just let it come out of your beautiful, amazing, incredible brain. Your brain has so much creativity and juice and life if you just allow it to do its job and not just regurgitate what's been done everywhere else on the internet, right? It's boring. So teach and coach, share mistakes, help people overcome mistakes, bust beliefs, bust myths, common myths that people are believing. You can do a lot with Educate. Educate's my favorite, but I've got to make sure that I rotate the other ones, because you can get stuck in your comfort zone otherwise. The third one is Enlighten, and this is where you show and you demonstrate. So rather than teaching something, you showcase it. So this is where we, oops, let me just fix that slide. So this is where we actually do a bit of like behind the scenes. And so with behind the scenes, it could be that you are demonstrating something that you do with a client. It could be that behind the scenes you take out your phone and you just show a little bit about your lifestyle, or you actually do an intervention, or you do some type of audio meditation. You might actually have a video of you coaching someone so people see what it's actually like to be coached by you. So show and demonstrate is behind the scenes. It's kind of insider-ish, like people like seeing what's going on behind the scenes in your life. I need to get better at this. So after I record this Facebook Live, what I'm going to do is jump on my phone and say, hey, I just recorded a Facebook Live, blah, 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 blah. And so it's like, hey, I just did this thing. It's basically living a cool life and then telling people about it, but it's got to be relevant to your ideal client. It's not just posting your lunch. If all you do is post your lunch, that's absolutely not going to get you clients. The next one is Edutain, and this is a mixture of education plus entertainment. The purpose of this is to build credibility and rapport. So we're always wanting to build credibility, and we're always wanting to build connection, credibility and connection. So a lot of these do build credibility and connection, But particularly this one is about the likability factor. It's about building personal trust. So the educate is about building professional trust so that they see you as the expert, they see, or an expert, not the only expert, but they see you as an expert. And edutain is, yes, it's building your credibility still, but it's really building rapport, connection, and for them to like you. You know, marketing is know, like, and trust. And so this is where we share personal stories. And personal stories bond people to the content. So when you share a personal story, you build more connection, it makes it more memorable, and it bonds your audience to you in a deeper way. I remember a lady, she came to my workshop a while back, and she said to me, you know, when you told that story of you leaving your seat and getting down and standing on that stage when you were really freaked out and bright red and shaking, I felt like something woke up in me. I told this story about how I was at the Sydney Convention Centre and I was at like a personal development business event, and Mike Tyson was like the headline speaker for it. And I just arrived in Sydney from New Zealand, and I just moved here. I didn't really know anyone. And I went to this personal development event that I saw on Facebook. And when these guys came up on stage, I remember them saying, who's got a question? We're just going to take some questions. And no one was really asking questions. So I just shot my hand up, but I didn't even have a question. And it was quite funny because I just put a protein ball in my mouth. And I remember they were like, run the mic up to that girl. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to finish this protein ball and I've got to think of a question. And I couldn't really think of a question, but they were like, stand up. And I stood up and I just said, I really want to be a speaker, but I do get really nervous. And so maybe my question was something like, what do I do? I can't remember exactly now. But they were like, run the mic, get her the mic, bring her down on stage. And went down on stage. And I was sharing this story because what happened, long story short, is that was on my vision board to speak at the Sydney Convention Centre. And I'd wanted that for 9 years. And then eventually that getting on stage gave me the confidence and the courage to go, oh, wow, I stood on that stage. I looked at that massive audience and I didn't die. And it gave me the courage to actually apply to speak at an event the following year at a big convention. And I got accepted. And for 9 years, I'd been going to this convention going, oh, I'd love to be a speaker here. Oh, I'd love to be one of those people on stage. But who am I to think that I can do that? And that moment where I just made that brave decision, where I made that hard decision, where I said, instead of saying, who am I? I'm going to say, why not me? Why not me? Why can't I be one of the people that speak on one of those stages? And I remember this lady sharing with me that story was the thing that made me want to work with you, because I knew that you got it, that you're an introvert, that you struggled, that this hasn't been easy for you. You've had to dig in, you've had to, dig deep to get where you are. And so stories are really bonding, sharing personal stories, sharing stories about yourself, sharing stories about your clients, sharing success stories, celebrating wins. That's all part of edutain. And whenever you tell a story, you do want to educate. And by educate, I mean, don't have 3 teaching points. That's what educate's for. Maybe just have one piece of wisdom, one thing that people take from that story, and think about it in advance. So that's edutain. The final one is exchange. And this is where we inspire them to take the next step. And so in exchange, if you think about it, we've given value, 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 for lots of value. Well, engage isn't as valuable, but some people get a lot of value out of just being part of the community and reading the comments and feeling that they're contributing, but it's not you, I guess, sharing a lot of content. But we're basically sharing and then we're asking. So we're not asking all the time, but even with this Inspire to the Next Step, it doesn't have to be, work with me, come to my free strategy session. It can be join my email list, join my Facebook group, follow me, those types of actions where we're moving people along a journey. So we give great value, and then at the end, we might invite them to a workshop, or invite them to a free strategy session, or invite them to DM us and start a conversation. So that's the exchange content. Now, obviously, there's way more to strategy than this. This is a very high level overview of what I recommend that you do. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, where you need to know what to say, how to say it, what to actually put in each of the different posts, and then like the order of how to structure it. And that's what I'm teaching about in my upcoming workshop. So we had one on Tuesday. We've got another one coming up this Saturday. If you want to know exactly how to get clients from your content, it's one thing to know these overarching principles, but another to actually have an expert sitting down, walking you through it step by step, actually starting to create it, getting feedback, getting ideas from other people, doing it together. If you want to be part of that, it's a free workshop. It's called How to Get Coaching Clients with Compelling Content. I'm diving deep into each part of these so you know exactly how to apply it in your business, so you can attract more clients while you talk about what you love. And not just any clients, but amazing clients. So this workshop, I've been putting the content together over many years. It's been through a lot of iterations. I always add new things. And it basically takes the best of what I've learned over like the last 20 years in business, but more specifically around 10 years of being online, and what works when it comes to content at the moment, now what's current, to just make your journey a whole lot easier, because I'll be guiding you through it. There's a whole formula that we follow. It's my signature content formula. I share how to use your content to enroll new clients consistently. So I'm only running this event one time this year. So if you want to check it out, just pop the word workshop into the comments, or just message me the word workshop and I'll send you the details. I hope this was helpful for you today. I hope that you've seen the power of having a content strategy and having diversity in the different types of content that you do. Have an amazing, beautiful week, my friends, and I look forward to seeing those of you who are coming to the workshop, seeing you on Saturday. Have a beautiful, amazing day. Big love. Bye for now.